lots of folks out there that split society into three types. There's the sheep, there's the wolves, and then there's the sheepdog. When in all reality, there's really kind of like two types of people. There's ants and grasshoppers. Those that prepare and those that don't. Sometimes you got ants that just kind of mill around their life and they forget they're ants. And what they end up doing is fuck all. They go to their job day in, day out, pay their bills, spend their money, act the fool. And then winter shows up and they're stuck just like the shitty grasshoppers. They don't really know what to do. As a consultant, one of the things I consult on is personal responsibility and preparedness. Every time the news turns bad, which happens more and more frequently, somebody calls me up and says, hey, I need a bug out bag for my family of 4. And I go, well, what are your skill levels? And they give me some really interesting answers. Sometimes they're pretty good, you know, former military, wife is an Olympic gymnast, I was an Eagle Scout, all sorts of stuff, you know, fair answers. Then invariably I get the answers like I got just the other night. Grew up in an urban environment, handy individual, survived in urban environment and prospered out of it. 2 kids, married to a good woman, and suddenly feel the need to have a bug out bag or a preparedness plan. I always ask more questions like, what are your skill sets? What are your plans? How old are your children? In this particular example, the children were 2 and 4. And they have absolutely no plans in place prior to the conversation we were having at the time. Excuse me while I blow my nose. Because I'm professional. So that was their answer. 2 kids, 2 and 4. Father was very handy. Wife was described as a bougie Asian woman. They had a very short time frame with which they wanted to get ready, and just like everybody in the world, they had a finite budget to do it with. This is the wrong time to be starting to prepare because everybody's trying to do it, so shelves are less stocked with the things you might need and more stocked with the things you think you need. Perfect example, people running out buying shit tons of water and a crap ton of shit paper. Apparently the wrong answer is pick the kid you like the most and ration the other one for as long as you can to make the other 3 individuals survive. People didn't want to hear eat your kid. You're kind of getting down to the wire, dude. If something were to happen tomorrow, the individual asking this particular question in this particular example would have no skill sets, no knowledge base, and no logistical means to protect it or save, transport his family. Don't be in that situation. Preparedness is more about consistency than it is about money. The first thing I use, like gear bags and stuff, are kind of a false sense of security if you don't have the knowledge of how to use the contents of that bag. Super important. Another really good example of this is I can build you a badass pack that you would have the potential to live a 3-month comfortable existence, and you would die in 3 days if you couldn't find the stuff you needed when you needed it. Right, Juan? Right. Okay, good boy. You could get lost looking inside of a bag just like you can get lost in the woods. If you don't know what you're looking for, what tool to apply to a given situation, you can have all the tools in the world, and they're no good to you. There's a term my buddy Tom Moore is very, very fond of, and I did pick this up from him. Knowledge weighs nothing. Again, you can improvise a lot with a little bit of knowledge. And if you don't have that knowledge, you're not going to get fuck all done. So what I will be doing with this individual and his family is sending them a short questionnaire. And it will have things on it like, what are your plans? You want a bug out bag. Where are you going? Do you have a primary place to go or a secondary place to go? Are you going to try and get into a hotel? Or are you going to like drive to the Bahamas and try and live on a boat for the next 3 months? The other big questions I'll have are, what are the health attributes of your children? I'm finding a lot more families recently have autistic children, which applies a certain set of requirements. Autistic kids aren't bad. They're not difficult. They just require a very specific kind of nurturing. Just like an ADHD kid has, just like a kid that vapes at 14, just like every kid's going to be different. These particular kids are 2 and 4. What are you running from? What is your trigger situation that's going to make you leave your home and relative safety and move on? Catalyst events are real, and you have to be able to figure out what those are going to be that trigger your movement. Pick the wrong catalyst moment, you're triggered too late, and then you're trapped behind enemy lines. Move too early, and you waste all your preps on a false lone wolf crying bullshit. A lot can be survived just by staying in your house. Just like a lot can be done going into the woods if you know how to survive with the things that are inside your pockets. A popular term I hear often is run your pockets. The idea being many people can survive for a very long time with just the crap they have in their pockets or purse. The benefit of having a bougie wife, I would imagine, would be a big-ass purse with a bunch of random shit in it. My mom used to pull all sorts of wild shit out of her purse, and it was small. I don't know how she organized the thing. She had like 90 purses. Anyway, preparation is less about money and more about consistency. Every month we grab something. We don't buy a lot of like 20-year shelf storage or shelf-stable stuff because in 20 years I'm probably not going to want to fucking eat that. But we do buy a lot of stuff with a shelf life of 2 to 5 years. And we cycle through it. We'll eat, we'll buy lots of cans of tuna. I like tuna. We can feed the dogs on tuna, and we can eat tuna. Excuse me. I'm calming down with something. Anyway, it's the Rona. There's a lot of things that you can buy and cycle through at a reasonable pace, have plenty put up for storage, and still cycle through them so that they're fresh. The last thing you want to do is have your like 20-year shelf stable crap 15 years into or 16 years into an event, and then it's only really good for like another 3 years anyway. Or you stored it wrong and it's been bad for fucking 2 years and you didn't even realize it. Shelf stable food is good at a specific environmental set of parameters for its longest period of time. A lot of people think, oh, it's 20 years good. I can put it in my attic. Well, your attic cycles up and down all the time as far as temperature, humidity, and everything else that could go wrong. Not ideal for storage of anything other than like your 1932 underoos. Keep that stuff in mind. The last thing you want to do is be looking at your kids going, well, that one's kind of pudgy and I don't even like that one. People should be planning now. Now is actually too late. But it's not so late that you can't get a foothold on something. Figure out where you're going. Figure out the best route to get there. Figure out what you need in transit between there and there. Then figure out what you need when you're there. For this one example and this one guy, what do I need in a bug out bag to support a family of 4? Son, your back ain't big enough. So you have to start splitting that load, prioritizing the needs of what you have. Children, if you're trying to move under cover of darkness, they're loud and they make noise and they get impatient and they get cranky. If in that situation, I will recommend a lot more morale type stuff than survival type stuff, because a loud, upset child will get you in far more trouble during a curfew type patrolling enemy style environment than you would be hungry, because you could get caught way faster, way before you starve. Keep that stuff in mind. If you are looking for stuff, you're looking for advice, you should be doing it now. Ask me questions. Be more than happy to answer them. If I decide to have a video like this, I won't out you directly, unless you're okay with that, and then we'll talk about you as an example. But I'm not going to, shit on anybody's attempt to protect themselves. Don't be this example. We're going to get these people through it as best we can in the time frame that they have. Bombs aren't dropping tomorrow. We're not going to have to worry about 2 weeks worth of fallout for a while. Putin's not retarded. Stupid. But he's smart. But that's neither here nor there. Be smart. Plan ahead. If you haven't got a plan already, plan. Start one. If you've got a green grass, a green yard, dig some of that up. Start putting seeds in the ground in the next couple of weeks. Because if you don't, supply chains are going to get short really, really soon, because fuel's up. That means your vegetables are going to go up. That means your meat's going to go up. That means you're going to go hungry really fast. DoorDash ain't your friend. Plant some fucking vegetables. Have a good one. I'm going to play with the rest of my dogs and finish setting up this particular piece of kit. Hello, beautiful. Big dog. Arr. Have a good one.